Yes, I drilled a hole in my fender and was eventually sure I had ruined everything. But before we get there, let me tell you why we're doing this. Because 2 subscribers in 2 different parts of the world sent me 2 really cool fender badges. I got sent 2 super cool fender badges, so I have to figure out which one I'm going to put on my fender.
Alright, am I in?
I'm taller than you.
Or at least as tall, right?
I'm so cool. You can see my Christmas shirt. This is so exciting. 2 of the very nice people who watch our videos sent me fender badges. And unfortunately...
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. They were just very kind and said, we want to send you something. And they both sent us, happened to send us...
And they're both so cool.
And they're both so cool. So we're going to talk about
cool.
each one individually. So the first one is from Australia, which is really cool in and of itself. But in Australia, they have a different way of naming their Falcons. Their fender badges were specifically towards their engines. So the normal, like the smaller engine blocks of a straight 6 would have the Pursuit. But since we have the big engine blocks, the 200, we get a Super Pursuit. So it says Super Pursuit and it has a Falcon on it and it's so cool. Okay, next one is the like classic Fender badge. It says i6 for our straight 6 engine. It was handmade for us.
He said that they had it CNC milled out of aluminum for you. Then they had it hand enameled.
He made it for a couple of his other friends and stuff, but he specifically made it for me.
So I mean, okay, if you're gonna have to decide, it's somewhere in here. So I mean, it's either gonna look like that, or it's gonna look like that. I mean, that is a tough decision to make.
But they both look so good.
They both look so cool. Now, I mean, you could do one on one side and one on the other, someone might say.
But I don't like the look of that. I want it to be the same all around.
That's understandable.
Another option would be to do them both here, but that just looks like a lot. It looks messy to me.
Okay, so what's your decision?
So I've been thinking about this a lot. We've actually gone over this for the past couple of months, I think a month. But what I think I've decided, I'm going to put the Super Pursuit on my fender, and I have a very special place for this straight 6. I already know exactly where I'm going to put it, but leave your guesses or where you think I should put it in the comments.
Today,
we're working on the Super Pursuit. That is going to go on the fender. We're going to figure out how to drill into our fender. We're going to figure out the bushing size, and then we're going to drill into my fender.
Whew. Okay, let's do it.
So, fender badges have metal posts on the back of them. Those posts have to go into the holes in the fender, but I'm going to have to make those holes myself, which is terrifying. So the first thing I needed to do was figure out how big a hole I needed to drill. So our plan for this is you have to put a barrel nut in, then stick this in. This is a barrel nut. They're like little
cups, kind of.
Little cup thingies that go on the end of badges like this. So these posts are a little bit smaller, but they fit the 1/8 of an inch barrel nut. So we're gonna drill an 1/8 of an inch hole, test it, see if it works.
So the idea is we'll make an 1/8 inch hole.
Yeah.
We'll push these guys into the holes.
Yeah.
And then push the badge in to see if that works.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
So we have this scrap piece of metal that we are going to practice drilling into before we actually drill into our fender.
I don't know if it's quite 18 gauge, but it's something. So I'm thinking probably your best bet is going to be finding some of these flat areas, and that's kind of where you'd want to.
Will you hold it while I drill it, like here?
We could take, if you want to, we could take this and kind of mark both spots on here somewhere.
So what I was going to do is I was just going to drill a hole close to the edge and then just put in one post.
Oh, yes, you can just do, okay, well, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. Don't press too hard,
Seemed to work. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to put it in the barrel nut.
Maybe, do you think you need like a little hammer or something?
Yeah. Will you hold the Super Pursuit? Let's try a bigger hole.
Cool. Well, I wonder, are you supposed to do the... I mean, I guess I was just assuming the barrel nut goes in there first.
Oh, no, I would assume the opposite.
Well, let's try it.
Okay. Yeah, it's not going in.
It doesn't want to go in, does it? Yeah. Okay, so what are we going to now?
5:30 seconds.
5:30 seconds. Here, I'll take your stuff, Doctor.
That fits, and that holds it tight.
Like, is it coming out of there or anything? So when you had two, if you had 2 on there,
that wouldn't come off.
Okay, so
30 seconds.
So yeah, why don't you give it a tap? There we go. Okay, so
we know, put the barrel nut on first.
Barrel nut on first, and then you can pop it in there. Why don't you? How about you do a test?
2.
Of measuring and making that. Okay, so
I was thinking that the way to mark it is to put a little Sharpie on here and then put it down, and then maybe it'll make a mark.
Lay it on there pretty thick.
Dang.
So yeah, what you need is something that you can.
Wait, I have another idea.
Tape isn't a bad. Oh. Ah.
And let's see if this works.
And then yeah, you could put it where you wanted to and literally drill right through there.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Somebody's got the brains.
Okay. Let's see if this is the right distance. God damn. I want to get it.
I think I got it out. I got one of them. Oh no, it's bending. Ooh,
Did you bend it?
Kind of bend them a little bit. Okay, yeah, they bend. Okay, so let's try that. Let's try that technique again. Let's try again. Oh, like you do it all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
That. Oh yeah, because maybe up top. Maybe that's kind of the mistake. That's a good idea. Yeah, you put it all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah.
And see if that's it.
Try this.
Okay, so why don't you go maybe more gently than I did before.
Let's just put it back.
Oh yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Okay, so at the bottom. Good call. That was a really good call. This is snug. That badge is not coming off of there. Let's get, I know we were drilling this with a straight bit, but every time we talk to somebody, they say not to drill sheet metal with a straight bit.
Okay, so
Use
let's go get a step bit.
So Dad and I ran to the store to get a new step bit, and then came back to do one more test.
So which, in the 5:30 seconds, is the second one down? Mm-hmm. Okay. There's one.
That was 2. There we go.
I think you'll just be able to know.
Yep.
That looks good.
Whew.
Okay.
Let's do it on the Fender.
I guess time.
But the final thing that we need to do is we need to figure out where exactly we put it on the Fender,
Yeah,
which we know.
Just stick it on there.
We know about where to put it, but we're gonna just double check in the book.
Like if you look here, you know, it's relative. It looks kind of high up next to that line and everything. Mm-hmm. But if you look at it on, so these are on the Sprints. If you look at it, because there were 289s that were on the Rancheros as well, and those were a little bit lower.
Okay.
So
we kind of just pick where we like it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a hard and fast rule for exactly where it's gonna go. Wherever we put it, we need to measure
how far,
so that we can do it the same way on the other side. So
Yeah.
I think we kind of got to come up with our own.
Cool.
All right. So what are you thinking?
So I'm thinking we measure from here, which is 6. So mark 3.
So 3's right in the center. So now you need to. Let me hold the badge and see if you like that. Like, do you want to step back over there and see?
I actually like it there.
Okay, cool. Where can we? Should we measure from the front edge? I guess.
I was thinking
so. If it's on the front edge.
But like, okay, so.
What do you call the front edge?
Yeah, that's the problem. Down here, it's 5 inches.
Okay, so 5 inches from the bottom. That's the first
up.
post hole. 3 inches up. Is that it? Is that the spot?
That's the first post hole.
Okay, and that's really all you need.
After I found out where the post would go, I drew a light pencil line with the level to make sure that I put the badge on straight.
A little longer.
Then it was time to put on the tape guide and actually drill the Fender.
I'm about to drill a hole in my Fender.
You're gonna be okay. That's it. Go ahead. You okay?
Yeah, I just realized that I drilled a hole in my Fender.
It's okay. It was planned.
But what if I don't drill the second hole correctly?
You're gonna do just fine. You got this, Elle. Nice and easy. You did good. Well, there you go.
That was stressful.
All right, let's get those barrel nuts in there. All right.
Everything looked great, but when I was putting it on, I accidentally put one side in before the other, and I bent one of the posts. Even though we did this exact same thing on the practice piece, and it wasn't a big deal, I was convinced I had ruined everything. Dad straightened out the post and was able to push it in evenly so that none of the posts got bent again. But I was still convinced that I had messed everything up and started obsessing over whether or not I had made it perfectly level.
That looks cool. Come on, come back here. All right, now turn around and tell me that doesn't look cool.
It looks cool, it just doesn't look level.
It looks really good. Let's go do the other side.
Okay. Obviously, I was still stuck on the level thing, but after some encouragement from Dad, we moved on to the other side. This time, we used a center punch to make it easier to hold the bit in place.
Nice. Oh, yeah. I think you might be a little overly critical of yourself.
What?
I think you might be a little overly critical of yourself. Really, look at it. Look how good.
For a second there, I was like, I quit Ellie's Garage. So that's the title of this video. I quit Ellie's Garage.
No, this looks really cool.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
It's cool.
That's cool.
Okay. After some deep breaths, I'm feeling a lot better. Overall, we did a great job. We practiced, we did it, and I think it looks great.
And you did really great.
And we did great.
And maybe, I know we'll have to take this off to finish the body work, but
we're going to leave it on for a little
yeah,
while.
this is pretty cool.
This worked out great. I'm very proud of myself, and I'm proud of my dad, and I'm proud of everything that we accomplished. And even though for a second I did consider quitting, I'm super glad that I didn't and that my dad was there to keep me pushing on. So, what I'm taking out of the garage is that you should never quit just because you think you did something wrong. You always have to keep going. Speaking of trim, look at this video where we took all of the trim off Carl. Thank you as always to my executive producers, Drew Carter and Kevin and Julia. Thanks for watching, consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time in the garage.